In every century, in every nation, there are leaders who rule with power. But only a few rule with love. These are the presidents who didn't just change America. They changed the hearts of millions around the world. They came from different times, different struggles. One fought a civil war, one fought poverty, one fought sickness. One fought global tyranny, and one fought for the birth of a nation. But all of them shared one thing. They carried the weight of the people. Even when the weight broke them. These are not just political stories. These are human stories. Stories of pain, courage, loss, and impossible hope. And tonight, I will take you on a journey through the lives of the 5 most beloved presidents in American history. You may know their names. But after this video, you will know their hearts. Stay till the end. Because the last message is something every one of us needs to hear. Most loved presidents in American history. The first one, Abraham Lincoln, the man who carried a nation. In the early 1800s, a quiet boy grew up in a wooden cabin in Kentucky, a boy who knew the pain of poverty, the ache of loss, and the weight of responsibility far earlier than most. That boy was Abraham Lincoln. Raised in hardship, working as a farm laborer, reading books by candlelight. Lincoln understood suffering. And maybe that is why the American people loved him, because he spoke to their pain. When he became president in 1861, the nation was breaking apart. The Civil War had begun. Brothers were fighting brothers. America was bleeding. And in the middle of this darkness, Lincoln carried the burden of preserving the Union. He didn't choose war, but he chose courage. In 1863, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring freedom for enslaved people in the Confederacy. It was a decision that changed the moral direction of America forever. But greatness always demands sacrifice. As the war neared its end, Lincoln went to a moment of peace. Instead, he met his fate. On April 14, 1865, he was assassinated. America cried that night. Because they didn't just lose a president, they lost the man who held the country together. Lincoln remains the symbol of honesty, unity, and sacrifice, the leader who rose from nothing and gave everything. The second one. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the president who gave hope. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt became president in 1933, America was on its knees. The Great Depression had crushed millions. People lost jobs, homes, and hope. But Roosevelt brought something America desperately needed: confidence. In his famous fireside radio talks, his voice became a warm presence in every home. He told Americans, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Under his New Deal programs, he rebuilt the economy, created jobs, and restored dignity to families who thought their lives were over. But destiny had another test waiting. In 1941, World War II dragged America into the deadliest conflict in human history. Roosevelt stood strong. He united the Allies, armed the nation, and helped shape the strategy that would eventually defeat tyranny. What makes his story even more emotional is this: Roosevelt did all of this while paralyzed from the waist down. He hid his wheelchair from the public, not out of shame, but so Americans would never feel weak. He served 4 terms, more than any other president, guiding the country through its darkest years. He died in 1945, just weeks before victory in Europe. Americans mourned the leader who kept them alive when the world felt like it was ending. The 3D1. John F. Kennedy, the president who inspired a generation. Young. Charismatic. Hopeful. John Fitzgerald Kennedy became president in 1961, the youngest ever elected. He represented a new era, an age of courage, innovation, and dreams. In his historic inaugural address, he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." That line lit a fire in the hearts of millions. Kennedy faced Cold War tension, nuclear threats, and the civil rights struggle. But he pushed for peace. He pushed for equality. He promised to put a man on the moon. He believed America could reach the impossible. But destiny cut him short. On November 22, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, President Kennedy was riding in an open car, waving, smiling, connecting with ordinary people. And then, in a moment that shocked the entire world, gunshots rang out. The president who symbolized hope was gone. People wept openly in the streets. The world stood still. Even today, Kennedy remains one of the most admired leaders, not just for what he accomplished, but for what he could have accomplished if fate allowed him more time. He became eternal, a symbol of promise left unfinished. The fourth one. Theodore Roosevelt, the Lion of the White House. Before he became president, Theodore Roosevelt was a sick, weak child. Doctors doubted he would survive childhood. But he refused to live in fear. He built his body with intense exercise and built his spirit with adventure. He became a cowboy, a soldier, an explorer, a man who lived life like a storm. As president from 1901 to 1909, Roosevelt believed America should be strong, fair, and just. He fought the powerful corporations that cheated ordinary people. He protected nature by creating national parks, forests, and wildlife areas. More than 230 million acres of land were preserved because of him. He believed in speaking softly, but carrying a big stick. His courage made him a global icon. He even won the Nobel Peace Prize for negotiating an end to the Russo-Japanese War. Roosevelt taught America this. A leader must be bold enough to face giants, and humble enough to protect the small. He lived fiercely. He died peacefully in his sleep in 1919. His family said, death had to take him sleeping, for if he had been awake, he would have fought. The fifth one. Thomas Jefferson, the mind that designed a nation. Thomas Jefferson was not just a president, he was a thinker, a philosopher, an inventor, and the author of the Declaration of Independence. When he wrote the words, "All men are created equal," he laid the foundation for American freedom. He served as the third president from 1801 to 1809. Under him, America doubled in size with the Louisiana Purchase, one of the biggest land deals in history. Jefferson dreamed of a nation built on education, freedom, science, and progress. He founded the University of Virginia and believed that knowledge was the key to democracy. But he lived with contradictions. He fought for liberty, yet he struggled with the complex reality of slavery in his own life, a conflict historians still discuss today. Still, his ideas shaped the identity of America. He died on July 4, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence. The same day his friend, former President John Adams, also died. It felt as if the two founding giants left together, on the anniversary of the nation they helped create. 5 presidents. Different eras. Different struggles. But each carried the hopes of millions. Lincoln united a broken nation. FDR restored hope in hopeless times. Kennedy inspired a new generation. Theodore Roosevelt fought for justice and nature. Jefferson imagined a nation built on ideas. Their stories remind us that leadership is not about power. It is about service, sacrifice, and the courage to dream for others.